Today we will learn about transformations. There are 4 different types of transformations we will learn about. They are translations, reflections, rotations, and dilations. Today we will be focusing on translations. A translation is a slide of an object a fixed distance in a particular direction, meaning if I have a square, if I want to move that square, I slide it over to the right a certain amount. That is a translation. The image will have the same shape and size, and it will face in the same direction. A translation creates an image that is congruent to the original figure, and it preserves distance, length, and orientation, ordering of the letters. You will always associate a translation with addition. The notation is T subscript A comma B, or in parentheses X comma Y, arrow X plus A, Y plus B. So we're going to talk about what this notation means. The T subscript A comma B. So that's just going to tell you how the image is going to move. So T, A, comma, B. So the A tells you if there's going to be a horizontal change, if the image is moving left or right. And if it's a negative number, that means it's moving to the left. If it's a positive number, that means it's moving to the right. And our B is going to represent our vertical change. It's either going to be moving down or up. And if it's a negative number, that means that the image is shifting down. If it's a positive number, the image is shifting up. Number 1, what is the image of A 3, 2 after the transformation T subscript 2, 1? So 2, 1, if I was to write the original here, 3, 2 becomes, remember, X plus A. Our X was 3, and our A was the 2, so that now is 3 plus 2, comma, the Y is 2, so I'm going to bring that over, plus the B, which is 1, so 2 plus 1. Now we're just going to simplify that. 3 plus 2 will give me 5, and 2 plus 1 is 3. So 5, 3 is my new point after the translation. So what does this mean? So the x coordinate moved blank units and blank, and the y coordinate moved blank units blank. So we're saying how many units did it move and in which direction. So the x coordinate is always either left or right. So because this 2 is positive, we're moving 2 units to the right. And the y coordinate moved, well, the y was 1. That means that we're moving 1 unit, and it was positive, so positive means we're moving up. So this over here is key. It's going to tell you where we're moving, either left and right, and down or up, and how much. So question 2. Under the translation x, y, arrow x plus 3y minus 1. What does the point 2, 5 become? So 2, 5, arrow. Now I know it's x plus 3. So the x here was 2. So 2 plus 3, comma. The y is 5. So we're going to bring down a 5. And then it was y minus 1, 5 minus 1. Equals. So 2 plus 3, is 5. And 5 minus 1 is 4. So 5, 4 is your answer for number 2. For question 3, what will the point 3, negative 1 become after a translation of 5 units up and 2 units to the left? So 5 units up. Remember, up means that it's a positive number, so we would be adding 5. And up is also associated with the y value, so that's a y plus 5. 2 units to the left, well, left we said we're subtracting a number, so it would be x, because x tells me left or right, x minus 2. Now, if my original point was 3, negative 1, now I know it's x minus 2, so my x was 3. I'm going to bring over that 3 and then minus the 2, comma. It was y plus 5. We're moving 5 units up. So my y was negative 1 plus 5 equals 3 minus 2 is 1. And then negative 1 plus 5 is 4. For question 4, a translation moves p 3, 5 to p prime 6, 1. What are the coordinates of the image of the point negative 3, 5 under the same translation? So if I have the point 3, 5, and then it became 6, 1, you want to see how it was moved. So looking first at the x values, it was 3 and then it became 6. So the opposite of addition, which we normally do for translations, we're going to do subtraction. 6 minus 3 is 3, which means that I added 3 to the x value. Now looking at the y's, it was 5 and now it's 1. So we're going to do the same thing. We're going to take the new coordinate, which was 1, subtract the original, which was 5. 1 minus 5 is negative 4, which means I subtracted 4. To get from 5 to 1, I took away 4. Now, they're asking me what are the coordinates of the image of the point negative 3, 5 under the same translation. So negative 3, 5, I'm going to take this information here and plug that in. So if it was negative 3, negative 5, that would become negative 3. Remember, we're always doing addition, so negative 3 plus 3. And then negative 5, my original, plus the negative 4 for the y value. Negative 3 plus 3 is 0. Negative 5 plus negative 4 is negative 9. So 0, negative 9 is your new point. Number 5, a translation moves a, -5, 0 to a prime 4, -2. What are the coordinates of the image of the point -1, -2 under the same translation? So first you want to find the original translation. So a was originally -5, 0. And then it was changed to be 4, -2. So I want to look at first the x change. So it was -5 and then it became 4. Translations, we usually think addition. So the opposite of addition is subtraction because we're working backwards. So I'm going to take that 4 and subtract -5. When I do 4 minus -5, I'll get +9, which means that from -5, I added 9 to get +4. You're going to do the same thing with the y values. So I have 0 and -2. My end result was -2, so I'm going to start with -2 and subtract 0. -2 minus 0 is -2. So to get from 0 to -2, I subtracted 2. So now I'm going to apply that to the new coordinate. We can also write that this is x plus 9 and y minus 2. That helps. So the new coordinate they gave me was -1, -2. And I know for the -1, I need to add 9. So -1 plus 9. And then the -2, I'm going to add -2. When I do that, -1 plus 9 is +8. -2 plus -2 is -4. So that's my new coordinate. First you find the translation and then you apply it to the new point. Question 6. What translation was used to create A prime, B prime, C prime from A, B, C? So we're looking at two different triangles from a translation. You can tell that it's a translation because it's the same image. It looks the exact same. It just looked like it was shifted. And in this case, ABC is the purple triangle at the top. So it was shifted down and then a little bit to the right. So for this, you only need to really compare two of the same letters. So you can compare both A's, both B's, or both C's. In this case, I'm just going to compare both A's. So A and A prime. So you want to see how many did I move to go from my first point A to go to A prime. So you would be counting, and if we count from A to A prime, you'll get 9. And remember, these are 9 going down because we're going from A to A prime. And when we go down, it's the same thing as subtracting 9. And then the point here, it went to the right. How many did it go to the right? Count, it goes 4 to the right. And when we go to the right, it's always a positive number. So what was the translation? The translation, I'd make that big T. My x always comes first. So in this case, I moved 4 to the right. So that's a positive 4. I'm just going to write 4. You don't need the plus. We automatically assume it's positive. The 9, you definitely need the negative because when it's subtracting, we need to have that sign. So 9 down, my y value minus 9. And if you do the same thing with points B and C, you would get the same values. You're moving 4 to the right, and you're moving 9 down. Question 7. Given the quadrilateral METs M1, 1, E4, -2, T6, 3, and S3, 6, construct quadrilateral METs. And then part B, draw the image of METs M prime, E prime, T prime, S prime after a translation T, -1, 4. State the coordinate of METs with a prime. Okay, so I'm going to start by graphing the original, which was M1, 1, E4 or -2, T6, 3, and S3, 6. So M was 1, 1. I'm also going to label that M. E was 4, -2. T was 6, 3. And then S was 3, 6. Now I'm going to just connect those points. Now the translation to get all the prime letters was T, -1, 4. So the -1 means that we're moving left 1 because it's a negative number. And the 4 means that we're moving up 4. That's a positive. Okay, so left 1. Looking at that point M, it was 1, 1. Now I'm going to move it left 1, and then I'm going to go up 4. So my new point here is 0, 5. So that would be M, and make sure you label it prime. E was the point originally 4, -2. I'm going to move it left 1, and then count up 4. Put a point there, label that E prime. T, we're going to take that point, move it left 1, and then up 4. Call that T prime. And S, move it left 1, up 4. Label that S prime. Then I'm going to connect all my points. It's okay that they will overlap. And then you can see that the image is the same. It was just shifted up and a little bit to the left. So make sure that you have all of your points labeled correctly, whether it's the METs without the prime or it's the METs with the prime symbol. And that's it for today's lesson on